Ọdi onye yiri ya, ọdi onye yiri ya, ọdi onye yiri Chineke nke eluigwe, ọdi onye a ga-eji mara atụ sị ọ bụ onye yiri ya. Ndewo, kedu ka unu na-eme? Awụ m Olombise. We'll be using different songs like the one you've just heard to get better at speaking and writing in Igbo. My goal is to make a few videos going through songs like this one to pick out details that I think may be helpful to someone learning Igbo. Using the song as a starting point, we'll learn not only what the song says, but also how we can use words or phrases from the song to say and to write other interesting things in Igbo. At the end, we'll tie in the meaning of an Igbo name, and then we'll also see how the song will sound if we put alternate versions of some of the words into a different dialect. I'm excited to start with this first song, and I look forward to all the things that we can learn by singing. Since this is the first song, we'll spend a little bit more time reviewing some basic Igbo concepts like vowel harmony, the different types of pronouns, and the main parts of a verb. As we make our way through each new song and through other videos, we'll discover different forms of Igbo verbs, but with this song in particular, we'll learn about the ra verb form and the ga verb form. As we expand our Igbo vocabulary and knowledge of Igbo grammar, you get better at finding patterns that you can use in everyday conversations. You'll also have the bonus of having an entire Igbo song that you can sing on your own to practice your speaking, or that you can sing with other people just for fun. All of this sounds exciting, so let's not waste any more time and get to work. Let's start by reviewing the Igbo vowels. There are 8 Igbo vowels: a, e, I, o, u, o. Here they are again in lowercase: a, e, I, o, u, o. In Igbo, there's something called vowel harmony, which means that certain vowels occur together in the same words. The A group or A group includes a, o, and the E group or E group includes I, o, u. So how does it work? In a word that has an a, the I in that word will be the dotted I, like in nkita, which means dog. And in a word that has an the I in that word will be the regular I, like in iche, which means different. What about in a sentence? The Igbo version of the pronoun he is o or o. So in a sentence with a verb that has a in that verb, we will choose the o version, like ọgbara egwu, he danced. And in a sentence with a verb that has in that verb, we'll use the o version, like o mere ihe, he did something. As we go through the song, you see vowel harmony in action. I may not mention it all the time, but see if you can spot it in the words and sentences. As it is with most things, there are some exceptions to this phenomenon. There may be some words that contain a combination of vowels that aren't in the same vowel group, but for the most part, this rule usually holds. Now we're ready for the first line of the song. Ọdi Onye Yiri Ya. To begin, let's look at the first 2 words. Ọdi ghị Onye. Ọdi comes from the verb ịdị. Ịdị is one of the to-be verbs. We'll see another to-be verb later on. In this form, ọdịghị, it means there isn't. Onye is a noun that means person or someone. Together, Ọdi ghị plus onye means there isn't someone, or to put it more simply, it means no one. Ọdi ghị Onye, no one. No one is one of many indefinite pronouns that we use to express ideas in a general way. So in a sentence that uses an indefinite pronoun, the subject is not a specific person, place, or thing. Some of those indefinite pronouns are someone, no one, anyone, everyone, something, nothing, anything, everything, somewhere, nowhere, anywhere, everywhere. So we've seen that onye is someone and Ọdi onye means no one. Likewise, ebe is place and Ọdi ebe means nowhere. And ihe is thing and Ọdi ihe means nothing. Ọdi onye, Ọdi ebe, Ọdi ihe. These combinations usually have something come after them. It could be an adjective to describe the non-specific person, place, or thing, or it could be a verb to describe a state of being or to show an action. Yiri ya in the next part of the sentence is a verb construction, and we'll see what it means next. Before going into Yiri ya, I just want to quickly mention that while this song uses Ọdi onye, there is another very common way to say no one, using onwe from the verb inwe. Inwe means to have, but like Ọdi, onwe also means there isn't. So, onwe onye is no one, onwe ebe is nowhere, and onwe ihe is nothing. Alright, let's continue on and see what Yiri ya means. Yiri ya comes from the verb iyi mmadụ, which means to resemble someone. This is a good time to show you a map of a basic Igbo sentence. It'll help me break down the verb in a way that makes more sense. We'll fill in the map with other parts of speech in future videos, but for now I just want to use it as a table to organize and explain verbs. Complete Igbo verbs have more than one part. The main verb, which can come with or without an auxiliary verb. Then the complement, which is really the direct object in a sentence. And finally, the last part of an Igbo verb is actually the adverb. Not all verbs need all three parts to make sense, but sometimes it's necessary to have the complement or the adverb or both to differentiate one verb from another verb that has the same main verb. So, iyi is to resemble. That's the main verb. There's no helping verb here. Now, for the direct object, you can ask ghị Onye to resemble who? Iyi mmadụ to resemble someone. Mmadụ is the complement of the verb. Now let's look at the adverb. Adverbs modify a verb, and in Igbo there are different types. The cognate or participle is one adverb that all Igbo verbs have. It's basically the main verb with a different prefix. It emphasizes the meaning of the main verb. And so iyi mmadụ is to resemble someone, but iyi mmadụ eyi is to resemble someone indeed. An ideophone is another type of adverb that you might see. An ideophone is a sound that, when spoken, conveys an idea or a message. Kpọmkwem is an ideophone that means exactly. So, iyi mmadụ kpọmkwem means to resemble someone exactly. Finally, adverbial nouns are the kind of adverbs that you're most likely used to. Ọfụma means well, so iyi mmadụ ọfụma means to resemble someone well. Iyi is in the infinitive form, which means that it hasn't been changed to match the subject in the sentence. The subject in this sentence is Ọdi onye, which we said means no one. We change iyi to match Ọdi onye, no one, by dropping the infinitive e prefix, adding re, and duplicating the last vowel e. With those changes, we get yiri, which means resembles. Some scholars call this type of change the ra verb form. ra because a verb ending in a, like isa, to wash, would become Sarah if we change it in this way. Igbo verbs end in vowels, and their endings or their suffixes for this type of verb would be ra, re, ri, re, ro, ro, ru, ro. Instead of saying the ra, re, ri, ro, ro, ru verb form, it's just called the ra verb form. The ra verb form is used to say that something is presently or usually true, or that something has presently happened or usually happens. It can get a bit confusing because for some verbs it sounds like the past tense, and for other verbs it sounds like the present tense, but for now we'll just say that it means that something is presently true or usually true, or has presently happened or usually happens. What comes after yiri in Ọdi ghị Onye Yiri Ya is the direct object. In the table, mmadu is someone, but mmadu can be anyone. So in the sentence, we've replaced mmadu to say who the no one specifically resembles. Ya is the object pronoun him. Resembles who? Resembles him. Since we're talking about object pronouns, let's look at the other object pronouns. We've discussed him as ya. Ya is gender neutral and also means her, and it also means it, so it's not specific to people or living things. So yiri ya can mean resembles him, resembles her, or resembles it. The context of the statement will tell you which one of those is being used. Resembles me is yirimu or yirim. Resembles you is yirigi. Resembles us is yiranye. Resembles you all is yiri uno, and resembles them is yiri ha. Mu or gi, ya, ani, uno, and ha are the object pronouns that come after a verb. So now we can change the sentence to say Ọdi Onye Yiri mo or Ọdi Onye Yirim. No one resembles me. Ọdi Onye Yiri gị. No one resembles you. Ọdi Onye Yiri anyị. No one resembles us. Ọdi Onye Yiri unu. No one resembles you all. And Ọdi Onye Yiri ha. No one resembles them. You can even replace Ọdi Onye with a name and say something like Ada yiri mo. Ada resembles me. Ada yiri gị. Ada resembles you. Ada yiri ya. Ada resembles him or Ada resembles her. Ada yiri anyị. Ada resembles us. Ada yiri unu. Ada resembles you all. And Ada yiri ha. Ada resembles them. You can also remove ya from the sentence too if you want, since that mmadu can be anyone, and say something like Ada yiri ebube. Ada resembles ebube. Ebube yiri mama. Ebube resembles mama, and so on and so forth. For now, let's continue on with Ọdi Onye Yiri Ya. Ya in this case is referring to God, and we'll see why in the next sentence. Ọdi Onye Yiri Chineke nke eluigwe. In this next line, Ya has been replaced by Chineke nke eluigwe. Chineke nke eluigwe means God of heaven. That's the him we're talking about no one resembling. Just a little extra info in case you're curious. The word for God, Chineke, comes from the phrase Chi na eke, the God that creates. Chi na eke, Chineke. Another word for God is Chukwu, which comes from the phrase Chi ukwu, the big God or the great God. Chi ukwu, Chukwu. Eluigwe or eligwe is the word for heaven and comes from the combination of elu, which means above, and igwe, which means sky. Above the sky is heaven. Nke is a word that is used to show the association of one thing to another. So Chineke nke eluigwe is the God associated with heaven, or simply the God of heaven. You may also hear nke used with possessive pronouns, so let's quickly discuss another set of pronouns. Possessive pronouns come after a noun and they're used to show ownership. Igbo possessive pronouns are identical to the object pronouns that we just discussed, but those ones came after a verb. So, the possessive pronouns my, your, his, her, its, our, your in the plural form, and their are also mo or ghị, ya, anyị, unu, and ha. So if we use nke with the possessive pronouns, we can say nkem, nkemo, my own, or my or mine. Nke gị, your own, yours. Nke ya, his own, his, her own, hers, its own, its. Nke anyị, our own, ours. Nke unu, y'all's own, yours, and nke ha, their own, theirs. The phrase nkem is often used as an endearing term among couples, so you may hear partners in a relationship refer to each other as nkem, mine. If we stretch out this example, instead of saying Ọdi ghị Onye Yiri Chineke nke eluigwe, we can also say Ọdi ghị Onye Yiri Chineke nkem, no one resembles my own God. Ọdi ghị Onye Yiri Chineke nke gị, no one resembles your own God. Ọdi ghị Onye Yiri Chineke nke ya, no one resembles his own, her own, or its own God. Ọdi ghị Onye Yiri Chineke nke anyị, no one resembles our own God. Ọdi ghị Onye Yiri Chineke nke unu, no one resembles yours own God. And Ọdi ghị Onye Yiri Chineke nke ha, no one resembles their own God. It's also valid to use the possessive pronouns right after the noun Chineke to say Chinekem, my God. Chineke gị, your God. Chineke ya, his God, her God, its God. Chineke anyị, our God. Chineke unu, yours God. And Chineke ha, their God. Alright, let's move on to the next part. Ọdi ghị Onye a ga-eji mara atụ sị ọ bụ Onye Yiri Ya. This next part is a little complex, but I'll try my best to explain it. Don't feel overwhelmed by all the details. This is just to give you an idea of how verbs come one after the other. After Ọdi ghị Onye, the next set of words in red are a series of verbs. 3 verb sets to be exact. Let's see what they are. They come from the verbs in this table. Iji ihe is to use something. Ịma atụ is to give an example or to demonstrate. Ise ihe is to say something. Obviously, in the sentence, they've been changed. There is one more verb that's not in this table. Aga in ageji comes from the verb ega. With a direct object and some other adverbs, it can mean many things, but when it's changed and combined with another verb, it's used as a helping verb to talk about the future. This is what is called the ga verb form. The ga verb form is used to say will do something or will happen and so on and so forth. Back to the table. For the adverb part of each of the verbs in the table, I've only included the participle or cognate because that's the type of adverb that we'll need to combine with the helping verb ega after we change ega. We're only doing it for iji, ihe, but I included it for the other 2 verbs as well. So we have iji ihe eji, ịma atụ ama, ịsị ihe asị. Next, we'll see how all the verbs have been changed from what they are in the table to what they are in the sentence. Verbs are changed to match the subject. So let's start by going over the subject pronouns. I, you, he, she, it, we, you all, and they. The Igbo subject pronouns are different from the object and possessive pronouns in a few ways. The pronoun I has a prefix that's added to the verb and is then followed by the letter me. The prefix options are a or e, and it depends on vowel harmony to the verb in the sentence. Here we would pick a because we're using it with ega, and ega has an a, and they're in the same vowel group. Alternatively, the pronoun I can just be me, and is pronounced with a humming sound when used in a sentence. The pronoun you is e or a. The pronouns he, she, and it are o or o. The pronoun we is anyị, which is unchanged from previous discussions. The pronoun you all is uno, that's also unchanged. And the pronoun they has two forms, ha, like we discussed previously, or with a prefix like I, but followed by ha. If we look at ageji in the sentence, two things are going on. First of all, the hyphen shows that there's a helping verb. Aga is the helping verb to eji. The helping verb is the part that gets changed to match the subject, and then the main verb is just replaced by its participle. Together, ega as a helping verb and eg as the main verb combine to mean will use. I've given you the ga form for all the subject pronouns. I will use becomes agameji, or the other form mgeji. You will use is iga eji. He will use, she will use, it will use is oga eji. We will use is anyị ga-eji. You all will use is unu ga-eji. And they will use is agaghị eji or ha ga-eji. In the sentence, we have ageji. That doesn't match any of the options. That's because the subject that's affecting that verb is an unstated indefinite subject. The conjugation for the unstated indefinite form of ga uses the a or e prefix, like in first person I and third person they, but nothing follows after. Now let's pause for a second. We said that Ọdi ghị Onye is an indefinite pronoun, meaning no one. But it's named right there in the sentence, Ọdi ghị Onye, no one. Even though it's an indefinite pronoun in the sentence, it's not the reason the verb that comes after it is in the indefinite form. This is because if an indefinite pronoun is named, like Ọdi ghị Onye is named in the sentence, the verb that follows uses the third person, he, she, it form. So it would be Ọdi ghị Onye ga-eji, just like ọ ga-eji, Ọdi ghị Onye ga-eji. If an indefinite subject is not named, then the indefinite verb form is used. So what I'm saying is that after Ọdi ghị Onye, there is an unnamed indefinite pronoun that is affecting that first verb. If Ọdi ghị Onye wasn't there, the sentence as it is would mean someone will use, and the sentence would just start with ageji. Since both Ọdi ghị Onye and ageji are there, what this sentence is really saying is there isn't a person someone will use. Someone is not stated. The verb, being in the indefinite form, has it built in. To drive the point home, here are some examples. Right now, there's an unnamed subject that causes us to use the unstated indefinite form. If, however, a subject is named after Ọdi ghị Onye, this is what it would be. For I, Ọdi ghị Onye aga m eji or Ọdi ghị Onye m ga-eji. For you, Ọdi ghị Onye ị ga-eji, and so on and so forth. But with an unnamed pronoun, it is Ọdi ghị Onye aga-eji. I hope this explanation makes sense. Again, remember, the expectation is just for you to get an appreciation for what's going on here. You don't need to know every detail right now or be able to use every detail. Note that after the helping verb ega has been changed and the primary verb has been changed to its participle, the remaining verbs in the series are in the ra verb form. Ịma atụ becomes mara atụ, and isi ihe becomes si, only because isi is one verb where the re suffix is optional. Isi ihe, the thing being said, is everything in quotes. So ịma atụ, to give an example or to demonstrate, and isi ihe, to say. So what we have here in the sentence is there isn't a person someone will use to demonstrate, to say, or no one someone will use to demonstrate to say blah blah blah. Let's see what's being said. Ọdi onye ga-eji mara tosi ọ bụ onye yiri ya. This last part is straightforward. Looking at the verb first, bo is from the verb ebo. Ebo is one of the to-be verbs. Ịbụ ihe is to be something. Ịbụ mmadụ is to be someone. Ịdị, the verb that we got ọdị from, was the other to-be verb that we've talked about. If you aren't already doing so, I would recommend listening to a podcast called Ọdi ghị Onye, an Igbo podcast. It's a great resource for learning Igbo, and one of the upcoming episodes will cover the differences between Igbo and Ede and when to use each one. Okay, back to the song. Ọ bụ Onye Yiri Ya. Here, ọ is the pronoun he, she, or it, and we changed Igbo from the infinitive verb to the ra verb form that matches ọ by again dropping the infinitive e prefix, and for the suffix we can add re and duplicate o, but these two steps are optional for Igbo in the ra verb form, just like they were optional for ese in the ra verb form, so they're left out of the verb. Igbo, to be, becomes bo, is. Next, we know that onye is someone or person, yiri is resembles, and ya is the object pronoun him. We're talking about a person resembling God, so that ya again is referring to God. So, to put the entire sentence together, we have the following. There isn't someone that someone will use to demonstrate to say he, or even she, is someone who resembles God. Or to say it another way, no one someone will use to demonstrate to say he is someone who resembles him. You can practice switching out the subject and object pronouns to say something like Abum Onye Yiri Gị. I am someone who resembles you. Ịbụ Onye Yiri Ha. You are someone who resembles them. And of course, you can also use proper nouns too and say Ebube bụ Onye Yiri Mama Ya. Maybe among 3 or 4 siblings, Ebube is the one that looks like his mother. Have fun with it. Okay, so we're done with the song now, but I want to quickly bring in the meaning of an Igbo name you may have heard before. Gịnị nọ n'aha? What's in a name? This whole time we've been talking about a resemblance to God and how no one resembles God. But that's just another way, a somewhat specific way, to talk about being like God or no one being like God. In saying that no one resembles God, the song is saying that no one is like God. My point is, if we're implying that no one is like God, we really could just say that no one is like God. And that would be Ọdi ghị Onyedikachi. Ọdi ghị Onye meaning no one. De from the verb ịdị means is. Ka here means like, and chi is the shortened form of Chineke. Ọdi ghị Onyedikachi. Ọdi ghị Onyedikachi could be a response to the question Onyedikachi, who is like God? I think a question like this would be a rhetorical question because a belief in God's divine nature implies that no one is like God. So it's more like a statement made in awe or in amazement of God. So the name Onyedikachi would be like a statement of thanksgiving to God. Have you heard the name Onyedikachi before? Maybe you even know someone named Onyedikachi, or maybe your name is Onyedikachi. We've been singing the song with specific words, but it can sound different if you change some of those words to alternate versions from a different dialect. So, our last activity will be to explore some dialect differences. Here's a table of all the verbs that we talked about today. You can see that ede may also be ere, ise may also be ishe, and ebo may also be ewo. Since we didn't talk about the transformation of ede to odi, it means that we didn't talk about the re suffix. That's another form of conjugation, and it's actually the opposite side of the ra verb form. It's called the re verb form. We'll talk about that on another day. For now, just know that re in other dialects may be ro and odi becomes odiro, or hon and odi becomes odihon if only the suffix changes, or orehon if both the verb stem and the suffix change. Next, we'll see and hear how the songs with some of these dialect differences included will sound. I should mention that although these variations are possible, usually when people come together to sing such songs, everyone sings it in the version that is most well known, instead of throwing their own dialects into the mix. So first, the original song as we've been singing it. Ọdi Onye Yiri Ya, Ọdi Onye Yiri Ya, Ọdi Onye Yiri Chineke nke eluigwe, Ọdi Onye a ga-eji mara atụ sị ọ bụ Onye Yiri Ya. Next is the Odiro version, where the re suffix has been replaced with the ro suffix. With this version, you can also see that some people may say enigwe instead of eligwe to mean heaven. Ọ dịrị onye yiri ya, ọ dịrị onye yiri ya, ọ dịrị onye yiri Chineke nke n'igwe, ọ dịrị onye a ga-eji mara atụ sị ọ bụ onye yiri ya. Now the Odeho version, where the re suffix has been replaced by the hon suffix. This version also uses ishe ihe instead of isi ihe. Ọ dịghị onye yiri ya, ọ dịghị onye yiri ya, ọ dịghị onye yiri Chineke nke eluigwe, ọ dịghị onye a ga-eji mara atụ sị ọ bụ onye yiri ya. And finally, the Oreho version, where both the stem of the verb and the suffix have been changed. So odeyi becomes oreho. For this version, I've also used ishi ihe instead of isi ihe and iwomado instead of ibomado. Okay. Ọrịha onye yiri ya, ọrịha onye yiri ya, ọrịha onye yiri Chineke nke eluigwe, ọrịha onye a ga-eji mara atụ sị ọ bụ onye yiri ya. The more Igbo you understand, the more you'll see that in such situations, it's not really difficult to still understand what someone with a dialect that's different from yours is saying. Dialects can be this easily discernible, but some dialects are so different that they sound like another language altogether. As someone from Imo State, Enugu Igbo, especially the Nsukka dialect, sounds like a completely different language to me. So the differences lie on a spectrum from easily discernible, like the examples I've given you here, to impossible to understand. You can ask family and friends which one of these versions sound more like the dialect of people from your paternal home, your maternal home, or your marital home, if those places aren't in the same region of Igbo land. And of course, there are different variations that I haven't even shown you here that can exist as well. And speaking of Onyedikachi, of course, this means that you can also hear that question in the form Onyerikachi when ere is used instead of ede. But for the most part, in terms of the name, those with that name usually have it in the form Onyedikachi. We are finally at the end. So, gịnị ka anyị mụrụ taa? What did we learn today? Here's a summary of what we covered. We reviewed the 8 vowels a, e, o, u, o, and learned about vowel harmony. We explored some nouns like onye, mmadụ, ebe, ihe, Chineke, eluigwe, and some pronouns, including object pronouns mo, or ghị, ya, anyị, unu, ha. Possessive pronouns combined with nke. Nkem, nke gị, nke ya, nke anyị, nke unu, nke ha. And subject pronouns. The a, e prefix followed by for I, or just for I. E or a for you. O or all for he, she, or it. Anyị for we. Uno for you all, and ha for they, or the a, e prefix followed by ha for they. We looked at some verbs in their infinitive form like ide, iyi mmadụ, iji ihe, ime atụ, isi ihe, ịbụ ihe, or ịbụ mmadụ. And then we saw the different parts that make up a verb, including the main verb, the direct object or the complement, and then the adverb. We then looked at two ways to conjugate or change a verb. In the raw verb form, which uses a suffix to say that something is presently true or usually true, or has presently happened or usually happens. We saw that the suffix is optional for ebo and ese. Secondly, we learned the ga verb form, which is a helping verb used to talk about the future. And next, we talked about having verbs written back to back. And then we ended by tying in the meaning of Onyedikachi and by exploring a few differences in dialect. Hopefully this has been a little helpful. I hope to make a few more videos using super short songs like this one. If there's a specific short song that you like and would want for me to break down, feel free to send it to me at olumbise@gmail.com and I'll try to do it justice. Until then, God